and Treasury have found at the USAID, and this is along with Elon Musk, his team. He brought in his financial team to the DOGE team to the to the Treasury, and they found some discrepancies on how they've been using our tax dollars for years, for years. So now they brought in the young gunners, with the computer knowledge, to untap all the information, y'all. So they found $164 million annually going to support radical organizations around the world. Another $122 million to groups that align with foreign terrorists. Like that's crazy. So when you think of all the things that's been going on, the terrorism within our own country, there's a high probability that we funded that. They canceled 12 contracts in the government services admissions and the Department of Education that results in total of saving $30 million. They also canceled 12 underutilized leases, and that's another saving of $3 million. They also cut $50 million for, this was crazy. We was able to save $50 million on an annual basis. They were sending $50 million worth of condoms to Gaza. $50 million worth of condoms to Gaza. That's wild. Another $37 million to the World Health. This is annually, y'all. This is what our tax money has been going to. Now there's another private tax where some other sets of money, and it was going to this. And this is where those are fishy off the back. But now is where it really gets fishy. National Bubble Wrap Relief Stress Fund, $1.4 million annually. The Borough of Mailbox and Feng Shui, another 900,000 annually. The Federal Balloon Animal, teaching clowns how to make balloon animals. This is a real thing. $3.3 million. The National pretzels that we eat, untwisting initiative, 600,000 a year. The Department of Sock Pairing, like this stuff, it sounds comical. Sock pairing, $1.8 million a year. The Federal High Five coordinating high fives, $1.2 million a year. These last few things that I wrote off, it just sounds like somebody made some sort of not 1099, some sort of EIN, and this is what they filed it under, and they was able to eat based on this. So they basically made a salary for themselves. And then how they was able to hide the money is that now they put it into stocks and bonds. So now it becomes untraceable. But what do you think of some of the things that they found so far with the DOGE team and the USAID?
I mean, with a simple magnifying glass, they could easily see how many people was finessing the system. There's people that know about how to get government contracts that put their peoples on to get the government contracts. You could get a government contract about, like they said, about anything. And then you got your peoples inside to funnel the money. And then now you just, you know what I'm saying, you getting the bread every year.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get a government contract, you getting that shit every year.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no insight. There's no checks and balances. You know what I'm saying? So anybody can just finesse the jump, but it's just getting in to finesse it. So they put their peoples on,
Mm-hmm.
and then they funnel the money to their accounts, and they slide on the bread. You know what I'm saying, on the back end.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not far fetched.
Another quick shout out to Ernesto Hernandez. Gifted again. Yes, channel great, but YSL, why goaded? Again, we appreciate you as always for your support. But yeah, man, I mean, now I see why. Now I see why that a lot of people was upset that Trump was in office, and then now people are making statements saying, "Oh, well, we got this idiot back in office." But there's a lot of things that are going to benefit us in the near future and in the long run. I'm not Trump's biggest fan. I said that previously before, but at some point, if somebody's helping to put money in my pocket and help my family, do I become their biggest fan? Hell no. But I'm going to support my better interests. And if this person is working in my better interests, huh, I'm going to work in my better interests. So a lot of people like to take the personal things into their politics, and you can do what you want. It's your politics. You know, you have your own whatever you want to do with politics, how you do your politics, cool. But when somebody's is moving in my better interest as an individual and as you know, the people that are around me in our best interest, then I'm gonna rock out for that. So when I hear these things and I see the people that lost and they're more upset because now if they would have won, these programs would have still been around. So there would have been millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars for the most ridiculous things that I've ever heard as far as packs where people would just make money in. And we've seen this in movies. One of the most underrated movies that I love, period point blank, is Eddie Murphy's uh, Undis- Distinguished Gentleman. And in the movie, people are was expecting it to be a comedy. It was, but it got real serious because they started really talking about, hey man, you the new guy that just got into politics, and I like the way you did it because you had a no face, campaign, and yo, I like your style, And if you come over here with the power lines that come with, just the big boys over here, baby, you get the power lines, we run the world. Yeah, you can mess with the plant life and the organics. You get your money on over there, but the power funds, you could get into shrink wrap and all this other stuff, all these packs where people could get their money on, and it's coming directly from us through our taxes from the American people, keeping us down and making them rich.
Hmm.
So and we see it, but they mask it in entertainment. I mean, what do you think about that? I mean, because this was crazy because now I see why the other squad was mad. It interrupted their money on.
Right. So it's like if nobody was getting money while all the other people y'all voted into office was there, now
Hmm.
the person that you didn't want in office is now cutting cutting ties with the money that they've been funneling within themselves. Still, all the while we haven't been getting no money.
Hmm.
Now it kind of creates an opportunity, like, hey, maybe you can have an opportunity to go to the bank, get that grant, get that loan, because
Hmm.
they finally opened up the money because they're not spending $1 million on condoms for Gaza, and it's not really $1 million for condom in Gaza or 50 million. Is they probably what you call did some switcheroo where
Hmm.
it was 50 million for condoms, but it was really 50 million for fucking that Afghan heroin. You know what I'm saying? They just tell you it's 50 million. That don't make no sense.
So I,
But guess what makes more sense? If I can make it on paper that I need $50 million for condoms, you know what I'm saying? But I'm getting bricks of heroin from, you know what I'm saying, from
yeah,
Afghan where the high rate of it being pure is from, that makes more sense.
and then I forgot a few. I forgot a few. It was on my separate list. Okay, so there was another 7.9 million to teach Sri Lanka journalists how to avoid binary gender language.
That sounds like some CIA covert. Yeah, we just gonna create this. We need to teach these kids in Sri Lanka about binary joint, but so they could set up a little side office in the back to
Right,
monitor whatever else is going on. Like they
right.
don't give a damn about that.
Learn how to say we, us instead of she,
They
him,
don't care about none
her.
of that. They just
Right.
need a position in there. So they're gonna finesse how they can on the paperwork to make
Hmm.
it look like what they need so they could get the bread to do the other things they need to do that we don't know about.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. And that's
So
again.
if you remember that movie Safe House, not to cut you off, if you ever
Mhm.
watched Safe House,
Yeah,
all right, in the beginning of the movie, nigga pretended he was a whole doctor.
yeah. Yeah.
walked in the whole office that looked like a doctor's office and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was a whole fucking safe house. Where you
Mm-hmm.
think he got the money? Well, not him, but where you think the
Operation.
company he worked for get
Yeah.
the money to create that fictitious office?
Yeah.
$9 million to create a school for kids to learn about he, she, and we. That's where they
Right.
got the money from. You know what I'm saying?
It gets even crazier, right? So $20 million to build a new Sesame Street show in Iraq. $4.5 million to combat disinformation in Kazakhstan. 1.5 million for art of inclusion of people with disabilities. Another 2 million for sex change and LGBT activism in Guatemala. This is all annually. Another 6 million to transform digital spaces to reflect feminist democratic principles. 2.1 million to help the BBC value the diversity of Libyan society. This is all annually.
There was a question where it's like somebody asked, hold on, what was it?
Y'all seen somebody
Can you
that?
trust DOGE to audit Elon's $20 billion government contracts? It's not the fact that I can trust DOGE to do it. It's the fact that they actually mention where all this money is going to in the first place. Because the whole time we didn't know nothing. Because my man's just said it's been annually. So you just found out about this year. So that means in all our lives, they've been sending all this money this whole time. So finally, somebody's just saying where this bread is going. Do I expect them to do any better than these other niggas? No. But the fact that he even mentioned it, that's a stepping stone. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's a stepping stone to the right direction. At least we know where
Mm-hmm.
these fools is sending our bread to. So maybe we can hire people to put them in position to have more checks and balances, however that may go. You know what I'm saying? But the mere fact that we actually know where the money is going for the first time,
Right.
that's a step in the right direction for me. If I think so, half the time I won't tell you shit.
And none of this money, I can't think of an American citizen right now that will okay any of these monies going there. I just have to believe that. There's no way that we're gonna say, all right, yeah, it's cool, 20 million to build a new TV show, a Sesame Street TV show in Iraq. None. So the point of the fact of the matter is, none of these things that they're charging to the game that we're paying for is benefiting us and haven't been benefiting us. It's like getting blood from a turnip. Where's our relief, right? So now we know where the money went. And if you ask most people, we want some of that money back, if not all. So at the end of the day, the fact that, like my bro said, we know where it's at, then it's like, yo, now that we know where it's at, now it has to be a plan to get that money back or to
Cut them
put it
programs, get
right.
them companies up
Yeah,
out of there. You know what I'm
yep.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
Start putting cases on all you bitches. You know what I'm
all,
saying?
all of y'all, and to land this plane, in the last 4 years, our taxpayer money politicians have given the foreign countries in the last 4 years, y'all. Mexico, 295 million. Czech Republic, 324 million. Estonia, 334 million. Lithuania, 339 million. Poland, 375 million. Romania, 397. Uh, Bulgaria, 431 million. Tanzania, 471 million. Pakistan, 536 million. All this bread. Colombia, 731 million. Philippines, 809 million. This in the last 4 years alone, y'all. Somalia,
That's over a couple of $1 billion right there. You just mentioned if you add all that up. If we just stop doing that right there,
bro,
maybe the cost of living might go down.
bro,
You may not feel it right away, but at least the cost of living might go down. That's made some that might you
facts,
might actually understand why everything is going up.
facts. Let me finish this. Somalia, 998 million. Lebanon, 1 billion. Iraq, 2.2 billion. Jordan, 2.3 billion. Afghanistan, 6.1 billion. Egypt, 6.3 billion. Ukraine, 2.6 billion. And Israel, $8.5 billion. This is the type of money we generated in the last 4 years. And they telling us that we don't got no money. How? How? Even the people that is working, or anybody that's on the books working, they going to tax us any and every way. We pay taxes on everything here. You go to the grocery store, taxes. You buy some new kicks, taxes. You go to dinner, taxes. Anything, gas, taxes. Anything that we do, we pay taxes on. And then they don't tax us one time, they tax us twice. Don't be retired, because a lot of people that's retired think they get taxed one time. No, baby, you get taxed twice. The very few people that get taxed one time, you have to set it up in a way where you only get taxed one time, but you pay a bigger tax in the front end. This is all our bread. And we got homelessness in this country. Why? We shouldn't have homelessness in this country, especially people that don't want to be homeless. Some people, I wouldn't say choose to be homeless, but majority of people do choose to be homeless. And some people like, yo, how somebody could choose to be homeless? Because some people really believe that the world is their house. They don't limit themselves to their mind that this place right here that I gotta pay, 2,000 a month. This is my place, when the whole world is my house where I live here. I was born here. I shouldn't have to pay on the land that I was born and raised on. That's how some people actually think. So some people with that mindset choose to be homeless, but majority of people do not choose to be homeless. Everybody should have somewhere where they could take a shit, shower, and shave, close that door and feel safe and close their eyes at night. Everyone should have that experience. Everybody should be allowed to do that, especially when people are working, because the narrative is that US, oh, we don't like to work. That's bullshit. All I know is people that work. You cook, bro.
I mean, like it's I already see where the game is going, so it's like none of this is surprising to me. It's like it's all supposed to be evident anyway. All of this was gonna supposed to come out. Like it's not it's not far fetched that they using the money for wherever the hell they want to if they know how to finesse the money. It's not This is not far fetched. And then on top of that, they hired their own cronies and their own lawyers to write the statutes, write the codes up, and they keep getting away with it because they have the judicial system on their side. So it's like if you're not going after one, you gotta go after them all. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
it's not just only the government agencies, everybody. Like whoever's accounts touch all that bread, they all going down.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to Rowan Jack in the building, one of our day ones and badge holders. Appreciate you tapping in. CA government has been embezzling the homeless budget. Yes, yes,
Exactly. They'll create the office and the organization to combat the situation. Meanwhile, they're the ones taking the money off the top.
yes. And we seen chinks in the armor just last year when former NFL great Brett Favre was able to get about like $4 or $5 million from the subsidized people that are that that like their money for not being homeless, but like they
Like snapping EBT and all
you're
that.
right. Snapping all that snapping EBT money. He ended up getting because he was friends with one of the governors or the mayors of that particular state or whatever, state of Arkansas, and he was able to get all that money. And when they found out, he didn't go to jail. He just paid the money back and the tax on the money that he took out. And that was it. You haven't even heard of it. People haven't even talked about it. So if we're talking about somebody like Brett Favre, who's a former NFL player, have access to that type of money, which he's not a top tier type of individual within the politic world, then imagine the people that you don't even know about. What you mean? What am I talking about? All this has to do with the money. That's how you see the chinks in the armor when you have somebody like him. So if somebody like Brett Favre had access to that money, so imagine the people that you don't know who's not an NFL quarterback. You think the most famous people in this world is the richest? Are you out your rabbit ass mind? It's the people we don't know. We just spoke about it earlier. They have different type of things. They subsidize. They subsidize just to kill this point. They subsidize a program, National Pretzel Untwisting Initiative, to untwist pretzels. The pretzels that we eat at the movie theaters, 600,000 a year. That sounds like somebody's salary. That's the dumbest thing that you can hear. So imagine something that's way more in depth, way more, just under the rails where they can't like find it so easily. And people take that money and put it into stocks and bonds. And people that's mostly in government have access to high level stocks and bond tips and how to make themselves rich. Before we move on, anything else you want to cook to this?
Nah, it's self-explanatory. Like it was bound to happen anyway. So because it's like after a while, the American people have to be informed of what's going on. Now that you're informed, what y'all gonna do about it? That's
Mm-hmm.
the most important thing. So it's like it don't even matter because none of y'all got no plan really on how to tackle this situation anyway. But for those who know, they
Mm-hmm.
putting the information out there. So for those who gonna get themselves situated from this knowledge, they know what to do.
Mm-hmm. And you know one thing about this country that is super gangster, and we don't even realize it because if we didn't do our own due diligence, we go along, get along. Like real talk. There's no real face to it. There's not a person that we could go to and say, you was the person of the stress relief shrink program that you was paying yourself $1.4 million a year. There's no face. All we just know is the initiative, and they just cut the initiative. So the person who end up getting the money, we don't even know who it is. And they could go on to the next finesse.
I mean, the game is so cold. It's like the game is so cold that they have all the available information that you ever need to do the same thing they do. It's all there.
Yes.
Books, forms, manuals. So at the end of the day, whose fault is it really?
Mm-hmm.
Is it the one that's finessing us or the one that's getting
In the
finessed?
finesse. Correct. Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, they ain't burning no books. So, you know what I'm saying? I ain't seen not one, I ain't never heard a library burn down yet in my life. So that
Mm-hmm.
means you have access to all types of information.
Mm-hmm.
They made it so easy. They got all the information in your goddamn phone.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck going to the library, you just Google the motherfucker now. Chat
Mm-hmm.
GPT this shit. And still they finessing. So at the end of the day, whose fault really is it? You know what I'm saying? At this point, we can't point at them. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
At this point. Now they just letting you know what's going on because they know you ain't gonna do nothing about it. So it's like, all right, this is where the bread is going. This dude had this bread. He done flipped this money 2 years ago. He done, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
they just gonna go on with the go on. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I agree, bro. I agree. Easy fool to convince. I mean, like I said, we've been going along, getting along for so long that any realm of oh, that's not right or that information is not accurate, we don't as a society pick apart the right things. We pick apart the trivial things. But when it comes to the real crux of our pockets that could deal with our pockets, that could put our families into a better financial state, a safer state, um, a mind in our country, it's like we're so disinterested in it. Like our country alone makes so much money. There's no reason why our country is not resemblance to a Dubai. We got all this land mass that's very like we like most people really believe in the US that we are taking up majority of the US space. We actually believe that. For those of y'all that don't know, the total amount of people in the world in the USA, the total amount can't even fill up Texas. Can't even fill up Texas. every person from every state of the USA and put them in Texas, Texas will still have enough land mass to that's just out there. It's just mad land just out there. It's untapped. And they fooling us or fooling the people to believe that it's overcrowded. We don't got no resources. The only reason why the resources are limited is because we're doing stupid stuff like this with the money. And nobody knows. It's like we really out here like hoes. Go get my money, we spend it how we see fit. Shout out to Rowan Jack, as always, supporting the show Black's Law. He gave you a Black's Law dictionary term, limited liability corporation.
I'm definitely gonna tap into that one for you.
All right,
next episode. On the next episode, cause I got the words that you asked for this episode.